The White House said Tuesday it backed legislation by a bipartisan group of a dozen senators to give the administration new powers to ban Chinese-owned video app TikTok and other foreign-based technologies if they pose national security threats. The endorsement boosts efforts by a number of lawmakers who want to rein in the popular app used by more than 100 million Americans.
You got 100 million Americans, 90 minutes a day.
Democratic Senator Mark Warner, who chairs the Intelligence Committee, said the bill gives the Commerce Department the ability to impose restrictions up to and including banning TikTok and other technologies.
I absolutely believe that China, with its authoritarian values dominating those technologies, is not in the national security interest of our country, or for that matter, people across the world who don't live in authoritarian regimes.
Warner said it would also apply to foreign technologies from China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, Venezuela, and Cuba. TikTok said in a statement that any U.S. ban on TikTok is a ban on the export of American culture and values to the billion-plus people who use our service worldwide. The bill would require the Commerce Secretary to identify and address foreign threats to information and communications technology products and services. Warner said it was important the government do more to make clear what it believes are the national security risks to the U.S. from the use of TikTok. Still, an outright ban of TikTok in the United States seems improbable to some experts, like Shuman Gosmajumder, a former fraud czar at Google.
It's extremely difficult to imagine TikTok or any app of this scale being banned across the United States. There are a number of problems that are associated with the government doing that, not the least of which is it's sort of unprecedented in terms of there's been no other app like this that has reached this level of popularity that has suddenly become banned in the United States. So I think practically it's extremely difficult and probably unlikely.
TikTok, the ByteDance-owned app, has come under increasing fire over fears user data could end up in the hands of the Chinese government, undermining Western security interests. TikTok chief executive Shuzi Chu is due to appear before Congress on March 23rd.
I'd like to call this hearing to order. Good morning, General Brian Fenton, and Commander of U.S. Cyber Command and Director of the National Security Agency, General Paul Nakasone.
How concerned are you about TikTok and the influence that they're having on American kids?
So TikTok concerns me for a number of different reasons. One is the data that they have. Secondly is the algorithm and the control, who has the algorithm. Third is the broad platform. Influence operations, as we talked about previously, it's not only the fact that you can influence something, but you can also, turn off the message as well when you have such a large population of listeners.
Yeah.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate you coming. I know we're going to be joined by a couple of our additional colleagues. Today, everybody's talking about TikTok and the ability of that platform to be used by the Communist Party both to take on data, but also potentially as a malign influence and propaganda tool. But before there was TikTok, there was Huawei and ZTE, and before that, there was Russia's Kaspersky Labs. So what we are trying to deal with here is the risks of insecure information and communication technologies, ICT. We lack, at this moment in time, a holistic interagency, whole-of-government approach. So instead of playing whack-a-mole on Huawei one day, ZTE the next, Kaspersky, TikTok, we need a more comprehensive approach to evaluating and mitigating these threats posed by these foreign technologies from these adversarial nations. With that in mind, I'm proud to stand here with some of our co-sponsors on the Restrict Act, which will give the President, and more specifically the Secretary of Commerce, new authorities to mitigate the threats posed by technology products from adversarial nations.
I've long been concerned about how every social media company uses the data it collects from users, and I've introduced a number of bipartisan pieces of legislation to bring more transparency to big tech. But I'm particularly concerned about TikTok's connections to the Chinese Communist Party, which repeatedly spies on American citizens. It was reported last year that China-based employees of ByteDance have repeatedly accessed non-public data about users in the U.S. despite TikTok saying to the contrary. And as Senator Warner pointed out, both the Trump and the Biden administrations recognize the need for a robust process in place to evaluate the threats that are posed by foreign technology. This legislation builds on those efforts by establishing a comprehensive process within the Department of Commerce to mitigate, and which ultimately could lead, I would add, to banning platforms like TikTok.